people have asked for a video of my ferret hutch, or penthouse as I like to call it. So this is what I built roughly 3 years ago. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few alterations to it, just to show you. So basically, where the door is when you open it, there we go. I had to panel it up to stop the ferrets from getting out, but it's still getting easy enough. So from inside, it looks something like this. So as you can see, lots of pipes. And I've just replaced this pipe a couple of days ago. It basically goes round and down onto this level here. All the ferrets are currently out in the carry boxes, so there's 10 ferrets out there. Hello, go. They also have a ball pit, so they can come down this pipe, around this one, and into a ball pit. These are just your standard kids ball pit balls. And then they can also go out of that pipe, which goes along there and out down here. And then they have two other pipes that go up, one into the nest box, which is in there. Say nest box, sleeping box. Now at the moment there's only shavings in there. In winter I put in shredded newspaper to keep them warm, whereas at the moment now they don't need it. So that's just, let's say, wood shavings. And then also there's another pipe that comes out there, helter-skelter one, which is onto this one. That's just a cat tunnel that they can play in and sleep in. There's also a hammock, as you call it here. Ferrets like hammocks. As you can see, it's getting a bit tatty. They've chewed holes in it. They sleep inside it, and it's that pipe used to go into there, and it's basically ruined. So what I plan to do is move the nest box down onto here, so it won't be as high. Fit them a new hammock underneath it, and then these pipes won't be as long. It'll give us all this space around here. As you can see, all this space here will be clear. There's a cat on the roof. Unbelievable. And then what I've got some more of this pipe, and I'm going to do a pipe from the top of here. I'm going to do it down this wall onto the floor, and it'll either go in this corner or down here somewhere. And then when that's finished, put all the ferrets back in. I'll talk through the ferrets. But this at the moment is the penthouse as it stands. I've also, on this wire here, on the back of it, I've put plastic sheets across it, because that's your north wind, and in winter it gets very wet and windy this way, so I sort of sealed it off with plastic sheeting. So it is very cosy in here, really. Right, so we shall get some stuff together and we'll crack on, and then I'll come back when we're sorted. Everything moved around in the penthouse that I wanted to do. Moved the nest box across, put the extra pipe in. I've also took out the little climbing frame that they had, because I've robbed some of the string off it, so I'll show you what I've done. So that's the door there. So where the nest box used to be here, now moved it out of the way. I've put this extra plank in, passing this new pipe. So that's the new pipe I bought. This is going to go, and then they're going to come around the top and out onto here, onto this ledge. Then there's that pipe, which was also part of this pipe that I bought. Just cut down, replaced that. This pipe has seen better days. These pipes don't last forever. They are fairly expensive, but they are good quality. But like I said, maybe I had this one on here a couple of years now, and it's the scratcher, it dries out in the sun, and then they just tend to split over time, and then once they start to split, the ferrets start to poke through and make them worse. So the nest box is now here, so it's lowered down. I've had to split the lid so it's hinged now in the middle, so you can now in there, still just shavings in there. And rather than having the hard pipe coming down at an angle like it used to be, I've just plyboard over that hole so it's not a gaping hole anymore, and I just have the helter-skelter pipe. Again, it's seen better days. So that now comes around that leg and out through here, this plastic pipe. This pipe is the one that's always been there. It goes up round the back, at the back of the hammock, through into the ball pit still, so that's not changed. The ball pit's still the same, that pipe's still the same, again seen better days. And then there's a new blanket for a hammock, which they do climb up. I was going to leave it so they just had to jump up and grab hold and pull themselves up, but instead I've took some of the string off the climbing frame they had and just put it round this leg, so now they can just climb up here. This is actually string that you can buy it on eBay, but it's for cat trees and cat scratching posts. That's exactly the same string. You can buy it in different thickness, different lengths depending on what you want, and you just wrap it around. All I've done is stapled it with tacks around the top. There's about 4 just holding it on, and it's just literally wrapped round, no glue, no nothing. So as you can see, there's a lot more room in here now. Just spin this around, whereas before all this space was taken up. And yeah, it's a lot better. I can now sit in here with a lot more room to move around. There's ferrets outside itching to get back in, so we'll get all the ferrets back in and we'll have a chat about the ferrets. Okay, so now I've got all the ferrets back in, all 10, and already, as you can see, we're already checking out the new pipe. Right, Clyde. So what I want to talk about is ferrets at this time of year. Get rid of this week. This time of year, all the ferrets are coming into season. Now in here I have 4 hobs and 6 gills. Now the hobs I've had them all castrated apart from one, which is Barney. So he's had a vasectomy and he's currently here in this pipe. Now all the gills are coming to season around now, and so do the boys. So when the boys come into season, they will have testicles. When they're not in season, they won't be there. So when you know when hobs are in season. Now if you keep hobs together that haven't been castrated, they will want to mate with each other. If you have gills, they'll be coming in season around this time of year now, and when a gill is in season, she'll start to swell up on the privates. Now this one has already been in season, and Barney has done his job because he's had a vasectomy. He's taken her out of season. As you can see now, she's starting to swell as if she's pregnant. The nipples are starting to show, but she won't have a litter of kits because he's had a vasectomy. She's also the same, so she's come into season and been taken out by Barney. She's still in season. As you can see, she's got a very large swelling on her privates, so he will take her out of season at some point if he hasn't already. And here's Betty, she's also fully in season as well. Now all of these can all live together because Barney's had a vasectomy, and Harry and Charlie, who are my oldest 2 ferrets, they've both been castrated, so they have no testicles. So Barney will probably want to try and mate these 2 as well. And there's also Clyde, who's a big ferret. Barney's brother, he's also been castrated. So these will all now live happily together all year round. I don't need to separate them. When the gills come into season, Barney will do his job. He's now just attacking the camera. Barney will do his job, and take them all out of season. Well, just to explain, they're currently enjoying the new pipe. Just to explain who's who out of all of my ferrets, I have the oldest two hobs, which is Harry and Charlie. These two are brothers. I actually got these about 6 years ago. There was 3 of them. There was Louis as well, but unfortunately he died last year. He'd had a vasectomy, and for some reason his testicles kept swelling up every year when he came into season for some reason. And the vets didn't know what was wrong, couldn't do anything about it, and unfortunately he died not long after. So these are the oldest two, Harry and Charlie. Now the 2 oldest Jills are Wilma, who's currently having something to eat. This is Wilma, she's also fully in season, and Betty. Well, these will be 5 this year. So Wilma's not related to anybody, and Betty, I got Betty first, and then Wilma about 3 weeks later. So they're 5 years old this year. Now, if you watched any of my other videos, the kits, this was the mother, Betty. She's a cracking little ferret, soft as a brush. She had a litter of 8, and I kept 3 of them. And the father was Charlie, so that one's Charlie, that one's Betty, mother and father. And they had a litter of 8. I got rid of all but 5. I was only going to keep a Jill and a hob, but I ended up with 2 hobs, which are Barney, Clyde, and the other one, the Jill that I kept, is Bonnie. Now when you look at the size of these 3 compared to the parents, they're absolutely huge. Now I'm presuming it's just from the grandparents, because it's obviously skipped a generation. Antic Wilma. And again, these are 2 brothers and sister, so these will be 4 years old this year. Again, cracking workers. Bonnie's really doing really well this last couple of years. She's caught a lot of rabbits. And then last year I got 2 new Jills, which is also on a video, which was Daphne, this one, and her sister. I can't tell them apart now. Sister, which is I think this one here, Rosie. No, Daisy. This one's Daisy. So we've got Daphne and Daisy last year. Or the year before, sorry, there'll be 2 this year. So we've had these about 18 months. The EU crosses of these, they were a bit bitey when I got them. Had to persevere. Had to actually buy a pair of gloves to handle this one. She was just getting too bitey. Now, I say you need to handle them. I've said it in my videos before, you need to handle the ferrets all the time. But she ended up getting pregnant to Barney and having a litter of kits. I didn't particularly expect and I didn't particularly want. But kits are kits. Got rid of them all, kept one, because you can't really have a litter of kits without keeping one, if you ask me. So I ended up getting a pair of welding gloves to be able to handle her while she had the kits. And I used to literally open the hutch, which I don't have the hutches anymore. So open the hutch and she literally grab hold of the end of the glove. Won't bite through it, but grab the end of the glove. She would hang off it. And then once she got used to me picking her up all the time with the gloves and not biting the gloves, then put up a bit of courage to pick her up without the gloves, and she was fine, and she's okay now. She does get a little bit jumpy every now and then, but I can handle her. She's alright. Now I kept one Jill off her, which is this one here. She'll be a year old this year, and she's Rosie. She was one of Daisy's daughters. We got rid of all the rest. All the rest went to homes, which wasn't a problem. But yeah, I couldn't sort of have a litter without keeping one. So yeah, so I still have 10 ferrets even though Louis died, which is unfortunate. But that's all of the ferrets. So really we've got sort of two families. We've got two sisters with a daughter, and Barney's a father, and then we've got two brothers with kits and then grandkids, and the only one, like I say, that isn't related to anybody else is Wilbur, wherever she's gone now. But yeah, they seem to be liking the new pipe. I was going to have it going straight down, but I thought it was maybe a bit too much of a challenge for them, so put some bends in, just so they can sort of walk up it like a ladder. These pipes are really good with having the copper wire around them. You can bend them in any shape, but it's like a step for them, so they can just walk up it. And they tend to really like it. Gives them something to do, bit of fun, keeps them entertained. And to me, having them in a hutch like this, or penthouse as I call it, is better than having them sat in a little hutch doing nothing, just being bored all day. When at the end of the day you can come and sit in here, pick them up, stroke them. This is what it's all about, just handling your ferrets. And if you do, you'll be fine. They're busy tucking into a rabbit at the moment. Hey boy, little Clyde. You're a big boy, aren't you? Alright, big lad. But if anybody has any questions, then pop them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. I always try and reply to all questions and comments. Not really ferreting much now that it's April. It's sort of wrong time of year. There's a lot of young rabbits about now, so plus with all the ferrets in season, doesn't matter so much for me. They aren't going to mate because they can't. But yeah, I tend to sort of shoot more now. So if you do get ferrets and you're thinking about breeding, or you don't want to breed, you will have to separate males from females unless you get them either castrated, vasectomy. With the gills, you can get the gill jab at the vets. Don't know how much it costs. Or you can have them spayed so they can't have kits, or you can mate them with a vasectomy-sized hob. Vasectomy isn't cheap, but once it's done, it's done. And you've got a hob that will always take all the gills out of season, plus anybody else's that you know. If you have friends that keep ferrets, they'll take other gills out of season. And then once they've mated, they'll have like a phantom pregnancy, so they'll go through the whole motions of being pregnant. They'll get fat, they'll swell up, the nipples will become exposed. She'll look at building a nest, and then 42 days later, which is how long it takes, when they're due, she just won't have anything, nothing will happen. And then about a week later after that, she'll come back into season again because she's not had kids. So again, big boy here will take her out of season again. And that'll carry on right through until around August. And the thing that brings gills into season, it's not so much the time of year, it's the amount of daylight. So if you were to keep them in the shed and you had a light on all the time, say 12 hours a day, you would bring your gills into season during winter when you would want them in season. So it goes on daylight hours. What are you doing? What's up? Oh, in your ball pit. Go and have a play in your ball pit. But yeah, so these are my ferrets, all happy and playing and eating. All daft as brushes. Good old Clyde. What a big boy, aren't you? You're a big lad. Don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook as well, and on Twitter. The links are on my homepage. And if you want to know where to get these pipes from, buy them off eBay. I'll put the link, I'll pin it to the top of this video so it's there. You don't have to keep asking me for it. And then yeah, if you need to buy some pipes, you can do. Trying to bite me on now. Yeah, lovely ferret. Other than that, that's it.